Just when you were thinking that was the last one more person from Comedy Sock came right in time. So we have one more performance for you. James Hopkins is the guy. He is one of the more political stand-ups we have in Comedy Sock, and the more politically incorrect as well. Yeah, no, he's lovely. We all love him. James Hopkins, everyone.
Why is there a balloon on the floor? Was there a massive balloon beginning and I missed it? Okay, nice. Yeah, like I said, maybe I do something that's more political, but I've just come back from a protest, so I've not done anything political. And like, the thing is, I started doing a lot more protests recently, and I was watching the Egyptian protests on Al Jazeera, and I thought, you know, like when I do my things about occupation, I thought, you know, that's pretty cool. And I was watching Al Jazeera in Egypt. There was this guy who, during a protest, rugby tackled a camel. Now, I don't pretend that I'm like the best protester in the world, but what goes through your mind when you see a camel charging at you with a guy on a whip, and your first thought is, bring it on. And you throw yourself that fucking camel and you bring it down, and then when that guy is on the floor, you kick his head in. That is how you fucking protest, not like lying in a room and moment the heating goes off. You take down a camel and kick the shit out of the guy on it. And solidarity! And yeah, sorry. And what I wanted to do like here is I wanted to kind of reflect on the past semester. And I was trying to think of what I was going to do when I was on the train up here, but actually I really needed a piss so I couldn't concentrate. And some things that really annoy me about women is they complain that men don't have difficult things. But have you ever tried taking a piss on a train? It may not sound at first the most difficult thing, and the blokes know what I'm talking about. The women are like, fuck's you about, you know, when you're a woman, you sit down, you hold on, and you sort of go with it. When you're a bloke, it's a lot more difficult because you've got the motion of the train to go with. And so it's quite annoying when you're sort of going about. And so when you're trying to piss on a train, you're sort of going like this, you sort of unzip and you go, and then the train stops like, shit! You've got to adjust your elevation. So you're not pissing wherever it's like, and then the train goes in, like, you're walking around with your dick all over the place, and you're trying desperately to get it in a bowl. And then you come out and there's the smallest bit of piss on the toilet seat, and the woman goes in and gives you the most evil expression ever. And you're like, what the hell? You have no idea what I just went through today. You have no fucking idea. And so I was having a piss on the train, and I was doing my usual thing where I was fairly desperate because I didn't want to go on the train for that reason, but I was had to hold it in, I couldn't. You know, it was a bursting point, it's like a bit before the dam goes, there are leaks everywhere. It's not a nice situation, you've got to go, you've got no choice. And so, I mean, I was about to go, and I was going, and suddenly the train jerked. I went, shit! And my hand against the wall so I didn't go flying. And the train slowed a bit more, and I looked, and I put my hand through the emergency stop. And so the train's going to stop, and I'm thinking, because I'm desperate at this point, I'm thinking, I should get out of here before I get done for setting the alarm off. You can come in if you want. Well, not. I'm really that bad, but I mean, it's a £200 fine for sending it off for the wrong reason. So I was like, shit, I don't want to pay £200 fine, but I need a piss. And so when you're like, you know, when you've got a pressure piss, it's like, you know, when you're in the pub and like you're in the urinals and there are blokes there, you've got to go, because if you don't go in the next 10 seconds, everyone's going to be thinking, why is he just standing there? And so, like, the blokes there, it's a very difficult situation to be in. Now imagine that. But there's £200 at stake. This is like the most important piss of my life. If I don't make this piss, I'm paying 200 quid for the privilege. And so I'm there and I'm thinking of anything to get my mind going, just like Niagara Falls, just anything. And eventually I go, and I walk out the toilet just like relieved, and then this guy goes in after me. And then just as I'm walking away, the train security people come along, and they obviously know where the alarm's been set off. So they head towards this toilet and they start waiting outside. And so I sat back down nearby actually, just because I wanted to know what was going on. And the guy came out and they go, you set the emergency alarm off, look, it's there, it's broken. And they find this guy 200 quid. And so I was leaving the train, I got to Lucas and I was leaving the train, and I looked through the window and this guy just sort of went. And you know, you can't blame him, but at the same time, it was very funny. got 2 minutes of stand-up routine. And I think, everyone benefits in a way here. And so eventually I did get down to write my routine. And the one joke I didn't want to do was actually in my exams. I was doing the Cold War. And one thing you learn about is the end of the Cold War, it came about because of the Star Wars Initiative, which is otherwise known as the Strategic Defense Initiative, which is an SDI. And so one of the reasons it collapsed because Reagan's used this, Soviets tried to match it and they went bankrupt in the result. But I, in my kind of exam stress mode, instead of SDI, I put STD. And so America won the Cold War because Reagan gave the Soviet Union STD. Which may be true. Bill Clinton definitely would have done. He might have put a cigar in a strategic place and everything. So I decided the Cold War was won because of a sexually transmitted disease. And they don't teach that in history, probably because any videos or source evidence might be a bit suspect. But they really should do, I think. And also another thing I didn't realise, because previously I'd been in DRA, and in DRA your door locks automatically, but now I'm in a house, and your door doesn't lock. And the one thing, more than privacy that you lose, is the ability not to get fraped. Now, the thing with frape is, one thing it teaches you to do is lock your doors. And if only the McCanns had gone to university, Maddie might not have gone missing. And maybe frape could have prevented rape.
He's telling you how it is!
And so what I decided is, normally the boring kind of frape is you kind of write on your profile like Dave loves cock. Which at first is quite funny, but A is getting boring, and B, Dave is actually gay. So Dave loves cock isn't really that funny. So my latest strategy was, instead of going on Facebook, you go on Google and you type in the name of the most disgusting porn site you can think of. And then you go on the video, and every video, without exception, has a share on Facebook link. And quite what you want to share sex dwarf nymphs too with all your friends is beyond me. So you go on this website, you click on this Facebook link, and then it just has Dave loves sex dwarf nymphs too. And all his friends and family think, well, A, why is he looking this up, and B, why is he sharing it? What kind of friends has this person got that they share videos of sex nymphs? And another thing that's really annoyed me, so I've been at a protest, so I don't have like lots of money to spend on decent laptops. And so once I made the mistake of bringing my laptop to a lecture, and I mean, you know how this is, when you go to a lecture, you get people with like their Apples and really good laptops that do everything properly. Whereas my laptop's a piece of shit. So I went to the laptop, I turned up late, and I turned my laptop on, but it wasn't on like standby, so I turned it on properly, and it took 20 minutes to load up. So I'm halfway through a lecture, and eventually my laptop's loaded, and it just goes dum 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 dum, and everyone in the lecture looks at you, fuck. And then you try and load up the internet, but it's been on the past page you've been on, and depending on what you look at, the people behind you might get certain ideas about your personality, which anyone who ever sat behind me in that lecture doesn't speak to me for some reason. So, is anyone here? And the one thing that my laptop really annoyed me about was iTunes, that I kind of messed up my iPod. And so when I plugged it in, I'm on iTunes. Now my main media file is Windows Media Player. But I went on iTunes and it goes, this message comes and goes, iTunes has noticed it is not the primary media file for your songs. And I was kind of thinking, And I thought, it sounds kind of disapproving. But it's kind of like, so, I've noticed you've moved away from me and gone to Windows Media Player. Is it because like I'm too fat, or what has Windows Media Player got? I can fucking change. I can download iTunes 10.2.1. I can change for you, for fuck's sake. Why don't you come back to me? And I kind of feel like I've cheated on iTunes. And you know, I don't know what to do with it really. So I'm gonna leave you there because I haven't written anything else. So thank you for listening, and come to any future comedy stock events. Shameless plug. And yeah, thank you.
Yeah, sadly that's all we got for you.
But we got a rape joke.
Yes, we got the rape joke. I'll have Ellie come up and tell us something about shtick people.